Every New Year, we exchange wishes for peace on earth. And every year, world leaders try to negotiate peace in war-torn countries. Yet despite all the wishes and earnest attempts, world peace remains elusive. One of the biggest challenges to peaceful coexistence on earth lies in the Holy Land. Since the establishment of Israel 6 decades ago, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict persists.
Palestinians see this conflict as a political conflict rather than psychological. It's about power, it's about sharing the land. The Palestinians believe that this land was all ours, and now we have a big compromise when we ask only for 22% of this land. I think we see it because they have the power. It's not psychological, it's not about trusting each other, it's not, these are the symptoms of the conflict.
My point of view is that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is based on a political issue, a political conflict of sharing resources. Both sides feel like they are the victim of the situation. The Jewish people, my people, we feel that we have been victims for many years. And finally, when we found our own place on earth, again we become victims because they don't want us here. And we are threatened. And what we deserve a state of our own, but the whole region is rejecting us. In the background there is a tragedy, the tragedy of the Jewish people, and as a consequence, the tragedy of the Palestinian people.
These two different perspectives about the conflict only add to a peace impasse in the region. After decades of negotiations, many leaders have concluded that a lasting agreement is elusive.
The problem today is that the leaders are not leading, they are following, and they are trying to see what is popular and to follow instead of taking some direction and lead and make the people and convince the people that this is the right thing to do and this is best for the future of this region, rather than try to see what the people think and try to accomplish that when you have so many people thinking so many different things.
Despite the overriding pessimism about peace, a few groups in the region have been quietly working together to change the status quo. Their approach is based on a sensible community concept.
The State of Israel is actually a binational, bicultural state from the beginning. This understanding is one of the keys for living in coexistence and peace in this country. In other places in the country, Jews and Palestinian Arabs live in the same towns, perhaps, but it's not out of choice. This community is a unique example, both in Israel and in the region, of a place where Jews and Palestinians, all citizens of Israel, actually chose to live together. We decided that we'll have the same number, so there will not be a majority-minority situation. So we have equal citizenship, which means that we recognize each other's culture, religion, political views.
The village was established between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv in the 1970s by Father Bruno Hussar. It serves as a model of peaceful coexistence among some 54 families, Palestinians and Jews. Called Oasis of Peace, or Neve Shalom Wahat Salam, the name acknowledges the community's bilingual, binational, and multicultural foundation.
From the beginning, we decided to educate the children in a bilingual system. By becoming bilingual, they learn the culture of the other group. They learn to respect. They learn the richness of the culture by speaking two languages. Also in the community, we share management. So we divide the management between Jews and Palestinians. And all this is different from the rest of the country. Because in the rest of the country, I'm talking about the State of Israel, so everything is separated.
By achieving sustainable peace, the village is a microcosm of hope in defying the odds.
We are an example of living, sharing the same place in equality. Some of us come from a Jewish background, some of us come from a Palestinian Christian background, some of us come from a Palestinian Muslim background, so we have many holidays to celebrate. Some of them we celebrate together and we share, we invite each other in the community to celebrate holidays with the children and the adults together.
Cornerstones of peace include respect and conflict resolution. In learning and practicing the principles, children growing up here learn to manage their cultural differences cooperatively and sensitively.
In a couple of years I will turn 18 and I will have to go to the army. It's a conflict because every Jew in Israel has to go to serve in the army. And I've grown up here in Neve, Shalom, Wahat, Salam, a place who has a different point of view than Israel. I have my best friends who are Arab, and I don't see them as enemies. I don't see all the Palestinian Arabs as the enemy or people on the other side. Growing up in Neve Shalom gave me the opportunity to be much more open-minded and to hear people for who they are, for their personality, and not for where they came from or what culture they came from or their identity.
The Israeli Independence Day is at the same time the Palestinian Disaster Day, that's how we call it. And in this day, the Jews and the Arabs separate and each one goes to his own ceremony or celebration. The Jews celebrate the occupation and their independence, while the Palestinians have a sad ceremony. And after that we went to the class again and we're friends like before because we accept the others, and at the end we are all friends. Growing up in Neve Shalom, I saw that it is possible that two people from different cultures can live together even if they have conflicts or arguments.
Living together as equals has provided an option to build bridges for a more humane society. Mutual acceptance and mutual responsibility are key.
We succeeded to build something that is good for the Jews and good for the Palestinians. And I think this is the biggest progress that we have gone through. The joint good instead of the zero-sum game where when someone earns, one side earns something, the other side loses. And we don't look at the living together today as a zero-sum game anymore, but as how can we make it a better place for everyone. And this is the huge difference between life here in the community, in this village, and outside.
In our daily life, we live the vision, really. The vision is two people sharing the same land, living in equality, despite conflicts, despite arguments, living with justice, with recognizing each other's and celebrating the differences instead of fighting. So what we represent is the possibility of the impossible.
World leaders have tried but failed to broker sustainable peace in the Mideast. Yet one small village has succeeded. For some 30 years, the community named Oasis of Peace, or Neve Shalom Wahat al-Salam, has served as the peace model. Here, coexistence between Israeli Palestinians and Jews is a reality. Located near Jerusalem, this non-profit village proves that generations of rivals can live in cooperation despite the surrounding conflict, thanks to your help.
Your donation and your support will help us to continue with all our educational program that brings together Jews and Palestinians to learn to live together in peace for a better future in the region.
Thank you! Thank you!
In a desert of conflict, the Oasis of Peace is Neve Shalom Wahat al-Salam.
I first came to the village as a participant in one of the encounters of the School for Peace. Later I joined as a volunteer, stayed here for 1 year, and I met my future wife here. I went to college, got some education, and when I was thinking about a place to live and raise my children and where I can contribute to make a difference in the relation between Arabs and Jews, it was just the natural place to come back to, and it was a decision of me and my wife rather than go back to our hometowns where it's only Palestinian community and it will make no difference.
For more information and to support peace, visit oasisofpeace.org.